Good morning, y'all. We're in this beginning of the very, very cold weekend. We just are working out in the yard, or Bob is, trying to get, a little wind barrier around our chickens so they're not going to suffer too bad when the winds pick up, which should be later this evening or tomorrow. I don't think we're going to get snow here, but we're going to get some freezing rain maybe. Anyhow, I hope y'all are staying warm wherever you are. And what I'm doing is today, someone had sent me a request for my chicken and rice soup. And y'all, I don't really have a recipe for it. And I usually don't have recipes for most of the soups that I make because lots of times I'm just doing what I call refrigerator soup, where I just pull out leftovers and put other things with it and make a nice vegetable soup or vegetable chicken or vegetable beef soup. But today I'm going to try to make just chicken and rice soup. I do have 2 chicken breasts that I had in the refrigerator that I needed to do something with today anyhow. So I thought, well, why not make this chicken and rice soup? So I'm going to chop these up into small pieces. I've got almost a whole stick of butter here. It's like, I think I took a couple of tablespoons off. So I'm going to put this down in my Dutch oven, and then I'll put the chicken in there and let it start cooking in the butter. I'm also going to chop up a little bit of celery because I think celery is good in chicken rice soup. And of course, got to have an onion. We'll have onion in there. And you know, if you got onion, you got to have garlic too. And then I'll start putting in the liquids. Well, actually, I'm going to put some parsley and some basil in there as well because I think those flavor with chicken really well. And I was just smelling this poultry seasoning, and I think just a little bit of this will really make the soup taste delicious. I don't want to put too much because it can be overpowering. So I'll probably have to put some, taste it, put some, taste it, that sort of thing. And you know, to me, that's the way a good cook develops her recipes, is by, tasting and making it yours. You know what you like. And usually if you love it, your family's gonna love it too. So don't be afraid to just jump in there and start making things. So I'm going to start chopping up this chicken, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with the celery before I put it in there, and the onions, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've got the chicken all cut up, and it's over in the pot cooking here in the butter. So while that's getting done in there, I'm going ahead with the celery. I've got 4 pieces here. I want to show you what I did to them. Your celery's going to have these little leaves. I'm not going to put that in my soup. I could, but I'm not going to. I'm going to let my chickens have it. So I'm just cutting off these little side pieces there, and then cut off the end where it has a nice fresh cut. Okay, now I'm going to show you what I do. I try to peel I'm just going to cut a little piece right here and then pull down. I don't know if you can see those strings. Let me try it again. Another place. Oh, this one doesn't have very many strings. Let me see if the bigger piece does. All right, see those strings that pull up there? I think you can see that. See, it's a nice long string. Well, you don't want that in your soup, so you just cut just enough that you can then use your thumb, like I'm doing here, and just pull that. It's kind of fun. Anyhow, especially if you're going to be just eating the celery, you don't want those strings in there. So it's how to prepare your celery. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut this down into little strips and then into little tiny cubes and put it in here with the chicken and let it be cooking. So I'll show you how I'm going to do it. Hold on a second. There. So I'm just going to take it and cut little strips like this, and then just go back and chop them into little pieces. And these will go right on into the soup. So you can see those are just tiny little pieces like that. They're gonna go right in there with the chicken. They'll add a nice flavor to the chicken. And if you don't like celery, really, to just eat it raw, which is, the way most people have been introduced to celery is, at a party where it was on a plate with other vegetables for snacking. But if you don't like that, cooked celery tastes totally different. And lots of times in the soup, it just disintegrates in there anyhow. So it's not like you're biting into a big chunk of celery and having that big celery flavor. So don't let that stop you from putting celery in your soup if you don't like raw celery, because it's really good and it adds really good flavor in the soup. So I'm gonna finish chopping this up, and then I'm gonna chop up an onion, put it in there as well, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm back. I've got the onions and the celery in the pot here with the chicken and the butter. It's just been sauteing for a little while. And now I'm going to add in some basil. I'm going to put a teaspoon of basil, like a heaping teaspoon. And then I'm also going to put some parsley. And some garlic. And put a teaspoon of garlic in here. Stir that up a little bit. That smells good already. Now I'm going to try to add in maybe, get a smaller one. Oh yeah. This is like 1/4 of a teaspoon of this poultry seasoning. And then we'll see if I need more later, but for right now, that's all I'm going to put in. I don't want it to overpower the soup, but we'll just see how it tastes. Okay, and now I'm going to add in a can of cream of mushroom soup. I'm sorry, I said cream of mushroom. I meant to say cream of chicken. Cream of chicken soup. I don't know where that came from. Okay. And I'm going to add in a whole cup of brown rice. I buy mine in bulk, so get it out. So this is raw brown rice. I'm just going to put a cup of it in there. And then I'll be adding in chicken broth. And I'm probably going to add water in too, because you got to remember, it's going to take at least, usually I think the ratio for cooking rice is 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. So I've got to have at least 2 cups just to cook the rice. But then I want it to be soup, so I need to add even more. So I think this is about 4 cups here, so I'm going to pour this whole container of chicken broth in there. And then we'll see how much water I need to add after that. All right. So I'm going to turn this light down. I think it makes it too bright for y'all to see. But let me bring you over so you can see what this looks like in the pot here. So see, it looks like really good soup already, and the rice is not even cooked yet. So I just love all those herbs floating around in there. But I'm gonna do what I told you I was gonna do. I'm gonna get a little tasting spoon here and just taste this broth. And I know it's not hot yet, but I'm gonna try to taste it and just see what it needs. I haven't added any salt or pepper yet, so. I think it's gonna need a little salt for sure, especially once the rice absorbs what's in there. Okay. Definitely gonna need some pepper and some salt. Other than that, it's got a really nice flavor already. So I'm gonna add in about half a teaspoon of salt right now, and half a teaspoon of pepper. And then I'm just gonna let it simmer for a while until that rice gets done. Probably 40 minutes or so. Anyhow, I'll get back with you in a little bit. Okay, y'all, it's been about 45 minutes to an hour, somewhere in there. And the soup is done. It's very buttery. And let me show you. See how nice and thick it is? It's got a lot of rice. Now, if you want it to be soupier than this, I mean, this is kind of thick, but if you want it soupier, you just add more water. I've already added 3 cups of water into this since it's been cooking because I didn't want it to get too thick. I didn't want it to make it like a casserole. It's supposed to be soup. So I've dipped out a little bit of it so it could cool off. And I'm going to taste it and let y'all know how it is. Oh, chicken is so tender. The rice is done. It's got a really good flavor. I think that was just the right amount of salt to put in there. Bob will probably add a little more pepper to his because he just likes things with pepper. But I think it's got a great flavor. And y'all, if I was sick today, I definitely want to be eating this. So if you're feeling under the weather, or you've got a friend that's feeling under the weather, make them a pot of this soup and take it to them. By the way, if you didn't have, if you wanted to do it with a quicker method, I think you could take, like if you buy a rotisserie chicken, maybe you eat one meal off of it and you've got a lot of leftover, then you can just pull all that chicken off the bone and put it in the pot. And that way, you're that much closer to having the soup ready. The thing that takes the longest, of course, is for the rice to get tender. So anyhow, I've already put this recipe out on my website. It's athomewithgigi.com. If you'll go there, you can actually print the recipe out, or you can pin it to your Pinterest board. I'm getting into the techno world here, y'all. And anyhow, also, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. All you gotta do is just click the subscribe button wherever it is on your device. But thank you for your comments, and like I say, I read them, I pay attention to them, because this is one that after I posted my chili recipe, someone commented and wanted to know about my chicken and rice soup, and so that's why I'm making this. So later today, I'm going to be making an apricot nectar cake that another one of my followers has requested that recipe, and I found it, and I'm going to try making it, and we'll see how that turns out. Anyhow, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.